Golden Ticket Club. Love it. Let's see what we got.
And I think there's a lot of businesses out there that are missing those opportunities.
It's a collapsing market, but the market's still there, and here's why. Thanks for giving this idea away. I'll start implementing it right away.
I think it's a really good idea.
It's a pretty cool idea.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really neat. All right, welcome back. Another episode of whatever we're calling this thing.
Yes. In your nice and lukewarm office today.
Oh, this office isn't so bad. My office, apparently my office shares an AC unit with another office, and it's like 93 degrees outside. Yesterday it got to 87 in my office, and I was sweating bullets, man. It was bad. I had to leave.
Nice and comfy.
I tried my best, and hence the short sleeve shirt today. I couldn't take it. I came to work today. I was like, all right, I'm not even chancing it because it's supposed to be fixed today, and the guy is out there looking at it, but it's certainly not working yet. But right here, this office doesn't feel that bad.
No, this is comfy.
But we'll see after we're done. Maybe we'll get heated in here. All right, so let's jump right into it. All right, we got Tourist Paradise. Oh man. Can't wait to see this one. This is from Euphoric Cucumber 30. Working on ideas to make money online. Aren't we all? I feel like I have a great opportunity to monetize where we live. We live in Sevierville, Tennessee. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Major tourist destination, home of Dollywood and the Great Smoky Mountains. Oh yeah, that's a great area actually. It's wonderful. I would like to step away from face-to-face interactions as much as possible. I've worked retail my whole life and ready for something new. You worked retail? Oh, man, good for you. That's a tough one. Any ideas on a way to take advantage of where we live? I thought about subscription boxes with items from the area, but still brainstorming. Thanks. I mean, yeah, there's quite a few.
There's a lot of stuff in Tennessee.
Like I have a friend that runs a bicycling app. So what he does is in major cities, he has maps and routes, like 20, 30 different routes in major cities for bicyclists. You go to the thing, you download the app. It's called Use Bikeway, and you download the app. And when you are in a city you're not familiar with, they can tell you, if you're looking for just like a friendly scenic route or like a really rigorous training route or something like that. And he makes money off that. He makes money off the subscriptions for the app, which is pretty cool.
I mean, if she's looking at doing products, I mean, there's Treasures of Tennessee she could do. There's all kinds of. There's Old Smoky down there. There's Jack Daniels. There's great barbecue. There's so many things that you could make a subscription box.
Right.
Similar to what's the clothing brand? The Stitch Fix.
I'm not familiar with them.
Where
yeah. Okay, I know
where
the online brand.
Yeah, you get a box of clothing every month. Why wouldn't you be able to get stuff from Tennessee once a month?
Yeah, that's actually a cool idea, right?
There's a lot.
I don't know how many different things you can get from Tennessee, other than
if you're a foodie, there's a lot of stuff from Tennessee. Yeah. Now
I've gone to Nashville quite a few times, and it's spectacular. Now.
It is.
It's a great place, and I could see you setting up a shop somewhere in Tennessee. There's a lot of great places. Like I said, Dollywood, Great Smoky Mountains.
She could add things from Dollywood in there. She could add all kinds of things.
There's going to be hundreds of different types of barbecue sauce down there.
Yes, I know.
Hundreds.
I know. I'm a foodie. I love barbecue. Like some of the best barbecue I ever had was down there.
So product based, absolutely.
And I found a ton of things that are like unique, like hot sauces that I haven't found anywhere else, spices that I haven't found anywhere else. So, yes, there's Dollywood and the Great Smoky Mountains, but why not make food boxes?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is non-perishable.
Right. So you can ship it overnight, a couple days, doesn't matter.
Ground shipping, you would be fine, right? It's just a matter of finding what's really unique about that Tennessee flavor and the Tennessee atmosphere that people want to capture and take home.
Yeah, so product, absolutely. The app ideas. There's always a billion app ideas. City tours, things like that. Although there's a dime a dozen, but you do a good one.
Plus, imagine having to promote this on like social media. It would be a fantastic day job.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Today I'm going to go to this barbecue joint that uses this spice, and it's going to be in our next month's box.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Old Smoky.
Old Smoky in Dollywood. No, so there's definitely a business to be had there. And quite frankly, I don't think the barrier to entry was very high.
No.
Certainly cost wouldn't be.
It's a TikTok channel and a subscription model that says we'll put products worth up to $49.99 in the box.
Yeah, put a few $1,000s out to buy the products initially, and boom, there you go.
You don't even have to buy them until people subscribe.
That's true, yeah.
Right? Because you say next month's box is going to have this.
Right, and then people subscribe, and you use their subscription money to buy the products.
Correct.
No, you almost have to put no money out. So, all right, there you go. So that's a pretty cool idea. Love the location. There's a lot of great places down there. Tennessee's up here in the we're in the Pennsylvania area, and Tennessee I would definitely say is an underrated community that we don't talk about enough.
Drastically,
up in the
I
Northeast.
took a camping trip through Tennessee, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome on
Yeah,
so many levels.
The number of places down there.
Yeah, I stayed in Nashville one day, and that was the least exciting part of the trip.
Which was very exciting.
Right. But some of the wineries and stuff that they have there.
Oh yeah. Did you go to the
Grand
Ole Opry House?
No, I did not.
Man, what a cool. Like, I'm not a country music fan whatsoever. Like,
right.
I don't like it. My wife likes it, but I don't like it at all. But that place is incredible. It's so cool to be there because you see. Like there's this club apparently of people who get invited to be members of the Grand Ole Opry House. We're talking like big stars like Dolly Parton and stuff like that. And you see the videos of the people as they're accepted or invited, I should say, and then accepted into the club. It's
life changing.
Yeah, it is. It's life changing for them. It's just so cool to go there and see like all the people who've been accepted into it and stand on that stage. It's a pretty cool place. So next time you go to Tennessee, highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I have to admit, I was more excited about seeing the Nashville Predators, but that's me.
All right, so there you go. You furry cucumber. I hope that works out for you. All right, let's see what we have next. Interchangeable car oil dipsticks. Mm-hmm. I don't know where this is going. Do you want to take a guess where this is going?
No.
Okay.
No.
I had to change my car's oil the other week, and I thought to myself, there has to be an easier way to check to see if the oil is dirty or clean. I mean, before I go any further, pull it out, wipe it, put it back. Am I missing something?
Let's see what the rest of it is.
Okay. Are there any products out there that act as pool chlorine strips? In other words, is there a dipstick that changes colors if the oil is dirty? Okay. That's a little different because usually, when you first put the oil in, it's going to be that that almond type color, right? That brownish, sugar brown color, and then when the oil gets worn over time, it becomes more of that dark.
Yeah, like almost like a blackish sludge.
Exactly. Okay, I can see that. If not, this may be a good business idea for any of those who know how to make something like this. However, I fear that it's not possible because I don't know if there's a chemical reaction that would differ between clean and dirty oil. The dipsticks would be single use, but would be able to tell the owner if their oil is dirty. I'm not a car guy, as I mentioned, so I had to get my father to come over and check to see if it was a dirty or clean. I think this would save a lot of people time and money. And that's a really good point because... So how many people? No. It's all seriousness. How many people these days? Right. Forget about the older generation. Forget about our generation.
I know.
How many people these days, especially the young kids, know how to even look at where their oil dipstick even is located?
So the problem with this is right, and I'm going to be the idea killer on this one, is that most car manufacturers have now started recommending either 5,000 or 10,000 mile oil changes, 5,000 or 7,500 mile oil changes. Most cars today take synthetic oil. That synthetic oil will last 10,000 miles.
Right.
So the chances of you even having to check your oil anymore is it's a dwindling market. Right?
It's a collapsing market, but the market's still there, and here's why. How many 22, 23-year-olds can afford new cars?
Yeah, but this isn't new cars.
No, but you're still looking at cars that are like 2017 and above. I mean, your 2014, 2015 cars.
This started like...
No, absolutely. No, of course, it started long ago.
But you're talking like 15-year-old cars that still need oil changes every 5,000 or 7,500 miles now.
Yes, but okay, so I think you and I are talking about two different things slightly. So you're talking about needing the change. I'm talking about where the car alerts you that it needs to be changed. Right, that's a feature in most new cars now. It tells you when the oil is low. But that wasn't as widespread.
So the notice is new. but we still use the sticker in the window.
Right.
Right?
Remember that? Yeah.
Right? So with cars that don't have it, you see when your last oil change was.
Yeah.
And then it tells you, well, then you can do the math.
Yeah.
Plus 5,000 or plus 7,500. Like, I don't remember, honestly, the last time I ever checked the oil in my car. Because, there's just not a need to do it that much anymore.
It's definitely a dwindling market.
Yeah.
Dwindling market, I should
So
say.
it's like, would you recommend someone get into the newspaper industry? Because that market, right.
Today.
So that market is shrinking by 20% every year and has been every year for the last 10 years, right? Like, I kind of feel like this is the same thing, that it's a great idea, but sometimes a great idea is a great idea.
20 years ago.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like this would have been great 20 years ago. Today, I don't know of a single person that checks the oil in their car
I don't
anymore.
either.
I'm trying to think of when's the last time I got a call. Even my cousin, who's in her mid-20s and drives a beater, has never checked the oil in her car.
Right.
Right? She just knows every 7,500 miles.
Let's expand this.
Yes.
Okay, let's go beyond cars.
Okay.
So when you are flying an airplane, right?
Yes.
Every time before you get in the plane, you have to do a check, right, around the plane, various things. And one of the things you have to do is
check the oil
check that oil level, right? And not just
So
the
you're
oil level, but you're looking at the color of the oil
Correct.
as well.
So I think there might be a niche market for it.
There might be.
Just maybe not a car, but something else.
I'm sure boats do something similar.
Sure,
Right? You want to check that
helicopters.
oil in a boat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they're basically car engines in a lot of them.
Yeah,
So-
but what I'm saying is you probably don't have a sticker somewhere on your boat that tells you the last time you changed it. There's no odometer on. Now, the big boats maybe.
Correct.
But not all
the
boats are
little
going to have
smaller
that.
one.
Yeah, they're not going to have
I
the
get it.
odometers
So
and such.
There might be a niche market for this, but more importantly, I don't know the chemical balance. But do you know what? I actually happen to know a guy that's a doctor who's a chemist that might know the answer to this. So tonight, I'm actually going to ask him so that I know the answer to this question. So the next one we do.
Okay, cool. I like that.
So
and we'll edit it in.
We can.
We'll edit it in.
Yeah, we can.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so there you go. Unlikely Highway 7083. For cars, probably a little late, but there are other options out there. Like I said, airplanes, boats, other types of vehicles.
Off-road vehicles, motorcycles.
Yeah, your ATVs, right? Yeah,
there's all
absolutely.
kinds of.
All right, cool. Moving on. Personal trainer hub. Thoughts. My thoughts are there are 5 billion of these, but let's see. Maybe there's something different here. Extra double 8933 says.
We're not very optimistic today,
No,
are we?
no,
Based on these three.
You know what,
Maybe it's
though?
the heat.
It might be the heat, but you know what though? We're giving good advice.
Yeah, correct.
Look, I'm always up for making a dime. I don't care how you do it. I'm always down for making a couple of dollars.
Yep.
So if you can make a few bucks off of this, great. I'm from South Florida, where there are a ton of personal trainers. Let me tell you something. There's a ton of personal trainers everywhere, but yeah, South Florida as well. One thing I've noticed is that personal trainers usually work out of existing gyms or that are already full of people. There has also been an increase of the beauty service suites popping up all over town. Those are the large commercial centers that have dozens of rooms that are rented out to individual stylists, barbers, nail techs, etc. My idea is to merge the suites concept, but cater it to personal trainers so they have their own private space to train their clients. The aspect I haven't quite worked out yet is how to best incorporate the equipment, but is this idea worth continuing to explore? So you're basically renting space to be a personal trainer.
With the equipment already inside.
Well, you're gonna provide your own equipment.
No. So what he's saying is similar to these style services spaces.
They already have the beauty equipment in there?
Correct.
You're not providing your own?
No. So it'll come with.
Yeah, because I go to the barber every couple of weeks. You look at me.
I know. I just happen to be very familiar with this market because we used to do a lot of work in this industry. So what happens is they would have, let's say you have a building, and inside the building you have 20 office suites. The owner of the building would go, okay, I'm going to turn 4 of these into massage parlors. So they would buy all the equipment needed to do massage inside those. I'm going to do 4 that are hairstylists and 2 that are nail salons, right? And they would furnish it, get it fully ready. So all you have to do is show up with your materials and you can do your work inside of these.
Okay.
So it's like a fully furnished work suite.
So is this person, do you think they're asking to build the suite or to be the trainer that hires the suite?
He wants to build the suites and put the equipment inside of them.
Okay, well, there you go. I think that's cool. I have no problem with that.
So I think it's cool. And it will work for personal trainers that already have a reputation.
Right. That's why they go to the gyms, because that's where the people are who need the personal trainers.
Correct. Right. Like if
you have the market already, the people will come to you.
It's like the if you're selling hot dogs analogy, right? Like if you could pick something, what would you want? The best hot dog, the fanciest looking cart, or the best location, right? And the answer is always
location, of course.
100% of the time, right? Like if you can set up your hot dog cart outside after a concert, like you're going to a concert tonight, when you walk out of there, if there's a hot dog cart right there, there's going to be hundreds of hungry people walking out of there because you've been sitting in there for God knows how long. Now, right?
Since we're around Philadelphia, whenever we go to events downtown, what do they always have? The pretzels, right?
Correct.
The soft pretzels.
Correct.
Just waiting for you as you're leaving there.
Correct.
And they're usually double the price, too.
So I think what he has is an idea that is worth exploring, but I would do my market research to figure out, are there enough personal trainers that have a dedicated enough following or audience that they would take advantage of this? Because there's a place right up the street from here that has dedicated workout booths. So you go in and you go into an area, and that is your workout space. There's nobody else that comes inside that workout space. Forget what the name of it is.
Oh.
But they have like a bunch of different options. So like they have a room that's like a hot room. So like if you do hot yoga, you can
like my office.
Yes, right now, like your office. So they have different type of workout rooms. So you can go in. If you book that room from 9 to 10, it is your room from 9 to 10 that day. Right? So I think there's a market to combine those two things, like what he's talking about, where they're renting specific types of equipment rooms, because someone doing weight loss training versus strength training are going to need probably two different types of equipment, right?
Sure.
So I think this would be definitely worth exploring, but go talk to a bunch of personal trainers first. Depending on where you are in Florida, there's money down there. People are willing to pay for this. We happen to be in a rather upscale area, like the Doylestown area, where there is money and people are willing to pay for a convenience of getting something like private rather than going to the gym with everybody else, so to speak. So I think he might have something here. It's definitely worth exploring.
Now, after you set this up, after you get it running and you have some clients and people are hiring the booths or, renting the booths and such, I think the next logical step is lead gen. Right? You work with a marketing services company like yourself, and you start doing lead gen for these people. Because what will happen is you will now lock them in to those leases, because they're not going to go anywhere if you're delivering clients to them.
You could, but now you go from being a real estate company to a marketing company.
But you're doing both. Well, you're hiring a marketing company to do it for you, and what happens is it will increase the value of those properties significantly. Because if you're arbitrarily, you're charging $500 a month to a personal trainer for a space.
But that's part of what the gyms are technically doing, because that's why personal trainers like gyms, is because gyms market to get new members in.
Right.
And then they get access to their personal trainers.
Right, but what I'm saying is most personal trainers probably, and I know there actually know a couple that are pretty good at it, but most personal trainers that I know aren't very good at marketing. They're good at personal training, and it's word of mouth, and they know how to, and their friends tell their friends.
Most people that are good at what they do aren't generally good at marketing in general.
So my point is, you start working with a marketing services company to start doing that, you increase the value of your properties quite significantly.
But now you can go back to the concept of why not just own it? Why not take the lead, sell it, and just hire a personal trainer to come in and do the hour session, and then
I would say when it comes to things like, and we talked about this before, when it comes to things like barbers and personal trainers and stuff like that, I think they're very specific. A person wants a specific person. They get comfortable with that person.
Yes.
Right.
But if I'm bringing in a new lead anyway, I can have a matching process that matches you with a personal trainer. based on your goals, whatever.
It's possible, but then you take on that liability and responsibility. I don't know. It's just an idea. Yeah. It's just, again, I always like to think down the road. After you set up, what do you do next?
Set up another one.
You set up another one.
Own 20 of them.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with owning property. Property is fantastic.
Yeah. Even if it's not full all the time,
right,
it can still be a very profitable, because you don't.
It's only going to be like 60% full, generally speaking, right? If you do it correctly, most of your commercial spaces only be about 60% full to be at least you don't lose money that way, right? So
yeah.
All right. Well, good luck to you out there. Extra double 8933. Cool. Pretty cool idea. At first, I wasn't sure where they were going. I'm not going to lie. 5 business ideas. No, I'm going to skip that. I don't have time for 5. Small business space idea. I think I've done this, but let's see. Hey to all. As the title says, I got some small space of 320 square feet. That is very small space. I think it's as big as this room. Available for something. Do you have any ideas what I could use it for? Maybe some shop, small theme bar, or anything else that pops into your mind. It's close to a crowded touristy city center. That was my next question. Where's it at? But the alley is not that crowded. Thanks for any ideas in advance.
So I agree with a commenter down there that says rent it out
to somebody else.
If you don't have a very clear idea of how you could maximize profits from the space with some kind of business, rent out the space, let someone else figure out the business.
Now the question is it your space? 320 square feet sounds like it's a space in another building. To me, right? I can't imagine you own 320 square feet.
Depending on where this is.
Oh, I know. But I'm going on the assumption that it's available to them through some type of rental or cooperative or something like that. I can't imagine they own 320 square feet separately.
You could.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying it's unlikely.
If you look at like Luxembourg.
Yeah.
It's right.
Where I'll be going this fall.
So you will see there are literally like these shops, like French fry shops.
Oh yeah, well they have the what you call it,
but a lot of them,
New Orleans, they have
a lot of them own their spaces,
liquor spaces. Yeah, little spaces like this wide, it's literally a window in the wall, and they sell liquor out of it. I know, it's fantastic.
But they own the spaces, so he could have something like this that he owns.
Yeah, if there's a lot of foot traffic, but if you don't know what you're doing, if it's not something it's something that you have experience in, rent the space out to someone who does.
Sometimes the simple answer is the best, and I think in this case it's that.
All right, so good luck with that. I don't know. I kind of like you said this. Tookie Fortnite made a comment about renting it out. I think that's the right move. All right, let's see. Reach Me app. Plus Economics 1021 says, an app that will attract a lot of attention from the youth. Imagine a platform with a wide range of Olympic sports where users can publicly share their records in various categories. If you hold the record, you win a prize. For example, a 100-meter run. We have Nathan, who holds the record on the app with 10.03 seconds. He is happy. 100-meter couldn't be that quick. 10 minutes, 3 seconds. He is happy with his record and the attention he gets, and will also receive the prize he deserves. Pros, you will win a prize. Need to figure out how. Many athletes out there are unknown. You will become very famous, and it will create opportunities for you. Oh, so what they're saying is that the Olympics, because it's very political at times, they don't always take the best athletes. They take the athletes that meet certain criteria, and there might be somebody out there that can beat someone else's world record. Or a record.
Yes.
Yeah, and that person will never be known, is what they're saying.
Correct. There's look at some of the what's his name? Anatoly, the power lifter.
Love that guy. That guy is my hero. I love him.
So and there's another guy in somewhere in the middle of nowhere that has never been inside of a gym, and he could compete in the strongman like tomorrow, right? So I think there are a lot of hidden athletes out there, but they may not have had the opportunities or have access to some of these meets or be able to travel. There's so many things involved. So I think this would be a really cool idea to allow people to go in and log their times. And it's easy enough because everything is video now.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you record it? Right? You got to do it on video. You have to.
Anything can be video, or you can get an official timekeeper, or if you're trying to set a record, someone from the app has to be present for the record.
Like Guinness Book or something like that.
So I think it would be a cool idea. It brings back competitiveness. As long as I like you will win a prize if you win.
What's the prize though?
And not everybody else gets a participation trophy. They like you can make the prizes anything. Imagine the sponsors you could get for this.
So
Nike,
do you do just
Speedo.
records, or do you do just records, or do you like maybe like an annual thing? Right, every year, whoever had the best time this year, whoever had the best time next year.
They could do it either way. But
Yeah,
it could be an annual thing. Whoever posts the best record for something, and you could do it for anything. Like you can do it for archery, you can do it for swimming, you can do it for, there's so many things you could do it at. You could
curling.
Oh,
which somehow is an Olympic sport.
I know. It's a fun sport.
Actually, I love watching it. It's fun.
It's interesting. But like you could even take it a step further and like do sport. So like figure skating. Okay? Figure skating, there is no real set system for how something
it's completely subjective.
Correct.
Completely.
So like you could even do a section of the app that's for like skateboarders where other people get to vote.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would give this a 9.2 or a 9.1 or an 8.5 or a total flop.
Right.
So you could do even sports that normally aren't just timed sports and allow users to engage with it by grading or giving.
Yeah. Sometimes those things become popularity contests, but still, like early thing, American Idol, right? Early on, especially, American Idol was nothing but a popularity contest. It's who they thought was the cutest.
Well,
it really was.
But the problem is, like, people misunderstood American Idol because they thought it was about the best singer.
Right.
It never was. Are you telling me Taylor Swift is the best singer?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Is she an idol?
No, I understand that. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what American Idol became. It was exactly that. It was 100% a popularity contest. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the talent of the singers.
Well, I think originally it was supposed to. I think that was the whole point. Originally, it was supposed to be how well can you sing.
Let's.
Otherwise, why were the judges there in the beginning?
Because
it went from judges saying you can come to Hollywood to the people voting.
Correct. Look at who was one of the first judges on American Idol.
Now you had Paul Abdul, Randy, and Simon.
Okay. So what is Simon famous for?
Yelling at people.
Taking average talent and turning them into idol.
Sure.
Right?
Okay, yeah, no. And realistically, yes. That's exactly what he did for years. Yeah.
So if that wasn't the intent of your show, is to take someone and turn them into an idol regardless of their talent, why would you bring on Simon Cowell?
But did Simon Cowell work with these people very closely, you think? I didn't see that.
No,
I mean, they didn't put on the show.
But what Simon Cowell does really well is recognize when people
have the opportunity or
whatever that spark is that turns them into an idol. For some reason, he has a knack for figuring that out.
Okay, how do we get on American Idol? All right, I'm moving on.
Because we were talking about subjective scoring for like skateboarding. But anyway, I think this app is brilliant. I would love to see it executed, even if you start with standardized timed runs and then expand from there.
I like the comment from Javel LM says, "Thanks for giving this idea away. I'll start implementing it right away."
I think it's a really good idea.
It's a pretty cool idea. Yes. Yeah, it's really neat. So good luck to you. Right into the show. Let us know what if you ever make it and what it is.
Yep.
We'll definitely feature it on here. All right. Let's see. My new AI startup. Oh boy. Okay. Because there's not a lot of those going around. How my new AI startup makes I'm not even going to read this. This is going to be a just an ad. It's when people do that, when they just write their ads on there and say, "Hey, you can make money too. Come follow me." I don't want to read that.
Well, that's a business.
All right, let's see. Property website like Rightmove, but for flats.
That already exists.
Let's read. Don't just jump the gun.
I am jumping the gun.
I'm trying to sell my property, and what I find frustrating is that I cannot list my property on Rightmove unless I am an agency. Sites like Strike enable free selling, but I want more control. Rather than listing it on Facebook Marketplace, I want a property marketplace that vets property owners and allows them to list their property for sale and can either forward the leads to an agency or deal with themselves directly with solicitors. Tons of scripts on Terkanian, but has anyone got any idea how to build this thing, WordPress plugins, etc.? First and foremost, if we're talking about flats and solicitors, they're over in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not in the US, but even still. I
have to look up what Rightmove is.
Well, it's obviously a UK-based app. No, they have that here with apartments.com, number one, right?
Yeah, so what he's talking about is different. He still wants to be the property manager.
Yeah.
But he wants someone else to vet the people for them.
Okay.
So we have that here in the U.S. Obviously, they may not have that there.
Right.
But there are all kinds of sites available that will allow you to run background checks and all kinds of stuff on people.
I wonder if there's reasons for it. There might be like legal reasons, privacy laws and things like that restrict it. Right, because if you're gonna have a third party doing background checks on people, that's probably has some type of privacy implications.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Well, as an idea, if it doesn't exist, yeah, cool. I like it. It's really cool.
Rightmove is kind of like a Remax Zillow.
Okay.
It's
that's for your agents, right?
Yep.
I can't post on there. However, when I sold my last house, there are plenty of these agents for hire where you pay them a flat rate and they will put your listing on Zillow or whatever, or on the.
Normally, they charge you the first month of rent. And they will go find you the tenant.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the sale process, but yes, it's the same thing with rentals, right?
Because it looks like he's looking for rentals.
No, this guy definitely is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what's in the UK.
Yeah.
We do have stuff like that here in the US. If it's not out there, cool. I would go build it.
If it works here, it probably works there.
Yeah, and you're saying if there's tons of scripts out there, well. Be careful with the kiddie scripts. Don't use a script you don't understand because you don't know what it's doing and you don't know how it's going to impact your product in the long term. Honestly, just if you don't know how to code, you're going to have to hire somebody. If you do know how to code or you have a rudimentary understanding, do it. Just go build it. It might take you a couple of years, but who cares? Go build it. Right? It can take as long as it wants, but the skills you're learning are incredible.
Correct.
So yeah, if you don't have it out there, great. Even if you do and you don't have a lot of them, make one that's better. Build a better mousetrap.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times the best apps and the best ideas come from people that said, well, this already exists, but I want something that fits my exact needs.
Correct.
And what you find out is your exact needs is everybody else's exact needs.
Correct. So you're solving a problem.
Right. You're solving a problem that everybody has and they just don't know it.
What's interesting is it's not always the first one to market that ends up surviving. Sometimes it's the newest one to market, right? Like if you would have told someone, oh, you can't build a new social network, or I'm going to go build a social network, people would be like, there's already a ton of them out there. And then 4 years later, they're like, oh, look, I have the 7th largest social network on the planet, right? Like, it happens.
What Jeremy Irons say in Margin Call? It was be first, be smartest, or cheat.
Yes. Yeah. And you can cheat. There's tons of people cheating.
Yeah. Well, you can also be the smartest too. You can come up with things that no one else came up with. So, all right. Well, good luck to you. I hope that does turn into something. All right. Let's see.
Best X accounts, personal growth, and professional success.
All right. We'll read this one. Oops, wrong button. We'll read this one just to read it. Let's see.
No, let's not.
No, we're not reading that. Never mind.
Because it says brand affiliate.
We don't want that. Golden Ticket Club. Love it. Let's see what we got. What about essentially a marketing firm? Hey, Gummy.
Yes.
What's up?
Let's see what this is.
That asks people to donate whatever they want to the firm on their own accord, and the firm uses those funds for lottery tickets. What? Why does that have to be a marketing firm? All right, we're going to read more. Hold on. Benefits to the community. Lotteries and scratch-offs are state-backed enterprises, not private casinos. As such, the firm is paying taxes, so you don't have to. Roads and schools are being built for you and your family, no cost to you, no work. Benefits to the contributors. All participants have a chance to earn a percentage of what the firm earns back in direct payment. Essentially, the more you contribute, the higher your chances of making a return on your investment. Sounds like mining crypto. Now I know you're thinking, I could just go down to the gas station and buy my own lottery ticket. I was thinking that. You could, but do you really want to deal with the taxes? Yes, if I win, sure, I'd love to. How much can you afford to spare as an individual in your financial planning? $5, $15? The Golden Ticket Club allows you a chance to have all the same rewards available to you without having to spend nearly as much out of pocket, because every dollar you contribute basically puts your name into the pool and additional time to see dividends from a raffle. Isn't this gambling? Is it? You aren't gambling. The Golden Ticket Club is. The Golden Ticket Club is the one who has to deal with the IRS and other inconveniences. As said in the benefits, what you get is guilt-free money bags, maybe, and can probably even write it off as a donation. You're doing everyone else the service. You're a hero. You're Mother Teresa. This is from 𝙎𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙧.
Okay. He needs to go back to the hookah and read up on some tax laws.
That's number one. All right, so it's pooled lottery is what they're doing. Pooled lottery.
That's basically what they're talking about.
And every office in the country does that. Whenever the lottery gets real big, everyone
Correct.
puts $20 in, and
well, what he's talking about is setting up an actual business that does it. Now the business is going to get taxed, and you're going to get taxed.
That's
as
if you
well.
win.
Correct.
Right, but here's the problem.
Yeah, no,
let's hold on. Before we even get to that, right? If the business collects $10,000 a week for the lottery, the business is taking a cut of that just to be a business.
Yep.
It needs its forget about profit margin. It needs its overhead covered, right? Let's say the overhead's $1,000. So now your money is only worth 90% of what you put in because you're paying overhead costs.
But you're
and that's assuming it's only 10%.
You're part of a larger pool, though, right? So rather than having a 1 in a million chance,
right,
you might now have a 1 in a 300,000.
Well, first of all, it's not a million; it's way more.
Yeah,
than
I
a
know,
million.
but I'm just saying, statistically speaking, the more tickets you have, the more lines you have, the more likely you are to win.
Of course,
right? Like that's
mathematically
the theory.
That works.
So what they're talking about is basically everybody chips in. And it's basically a giant office. And rather than buying $200 worth of tickets, they might be buying $20,000 worth of tickets. And I don't know if you ever watched the documentary on the guy in Las Vegas that hit the jackpot like 4 times in a year.
This isn't the guy who went out and figured out the combinations and bought all the tickets, is it? Different guy?
So no, he actually used probability calculations to pick numbers.
Yeah, they did a movie or a documentary on him with Bryan Cranston.
He hit the jackpot 4 times. So if you could take a company, not a marketing firm, but like a data analytics firm,
sure,
and you could start analyzing numbers and figuring out using probability calculations. Once again, not a marketing firm, but I'm
not sure where the marketing firm comes in.
I'm not either. Probably to sell it,
I guess.
So the idea itself, I think there isn't really a way to make a ton of money doing this.
There isn't. You can't. No. Okay. All right.
I know.
The odds. I mean, you can look it up now, but the odds of winning lottery are something like 170 million to 1 or something ridiculous, right? If you're talking about the Powerball. If you're not talking about the Powerball what is it, Mega Millions or whatever it is, don't even bother, right? Because they're the only ones that are even worth doing this with. So Powerball odds are like 1 in 170 million, I think. It might even be more than that. I forget. So let's say you cut that down by a factor of 10. Right? Okay. It's still 1 in 17 million.
Yeah, so the odds in any lottery are about 1 in 300 million.
300 million. Okay, so I was off by F. So 300 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you cut that down by 10, it's still 1 in 30 million. Cut it down by 100, it's still 1 in 3 million.
Correct.
Right? So you put your money into this pool, you cut it down by a factor of 100, it's still 1 in 3 million. That, for some reason, the people, that sounds better. But it's not. It's still just as astronomical.
But here's the thing. If you chipped in $5 and you had to buy $100,000 worth of tickets, you're only getting like $80 back.
Yeah, right.
Right?
And,
like,
and
even
if
you
winning,
correct.
1 in 3 million.
Correct. And even if you win,
what are you really getting back? Between overhead, tax costs, and everything like that, you're really not making any money.
No.
You're just not.
So I think this would be great for like a nonprofit as a fundraiser.
Right. Right. Sure.
Right.
I could see that.
But I don't know if this is a business.
People don't understand how large a million really is. Right.
No.
If you're talking about 1 in 3 million or 1 in 30 million, someone says, well, 1 in 300 million, I can see that as being the ridiculous odds. But 1 in 3 million, that's kind of small. No, it's not. It's astronomical. Your brain can't fathom how big 1 in 3 million really is.
It's a lot. People don't chunk numbers or don't understand numbers when it comes to that size.
Right. Exactly. With the law of large numbers, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, I forget what it is, but yeah.
So all right, 𝙎𝙧𝙧𝙧, interesting concept. In practice, I don't know if it works. prove me wrong. I'd love to see it work for you. It'd be great. Heck, if you prove it works, I'll buy in. I don't usually buy lottery tickets because I know the odds. What they call it, a tax on stupid people. That's what they call it, lottery, yes. A tax on stupid people, right? So, I mean, good luck to you. But I like your idea. Maybe something for a nonprofit.
Yeah, this would be awesome. Instead of like a 50-50, run a 50 lottery.
Right, exactly.
Like they take 50%,
yeah.
And then they go buy lottery tickets with the other 50%.
Yeah.
And everybody that bought gets
a piece of the action.
Correct. So if there were 100 tickets sold, the winnings get distributed by 100 to everybody that bought one. I like that idea, actually, if that's legal.
All right. Community-led e-commerce business. Interesting. This is coming from Key Concern 4422. So okay.
I just want to get back to the large numbers.
Oh, okay,
right?
Please.
So adult novels.
Yes.
Are typically 300 to 400 pages.
Okay.
So to get to 1 million, if you wanted to read a million pages,
which you can't in your lifetime,
you would have to read what, 250,000 books?
Yeah.
No,
not that many.
No, 25,000 books.
Yeah, 25,000 books.
So if you read 100 books in a year, let's say you can read a book in 3 days. So you read what?
3 days?
Yeah.
Who the hell reads books in 3 days? 300-page books?
Yeah. There's people that do it.
Not this guy. Go
okay.
ahead.
So if you're reading a 300-page book in 3 days, you're reading 100 books a year. Okay. So it would still take you how long?
Take you 2,500 years? No,
25.
250 years.
No, 25 years, right?
250 years. 2 zeros.
That's 1 million.
Take you 250. It'll take you 3 lifetimes to do it.
It can't be right.
It is.
So 1 million pages divided by 400 is only 25,000. So it's 25,000 books.
Yeah, 100 books a year. It's 250 years. Are you questioning my math?
Damn.
Never question my math.
I'm just showcasing exactly how big numbers are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you think about it, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. Then you realize, oh my God, it really is.
But then here's the funny thing, though, since we're talking about business and stuff, is when people ask, how hard is it to make 1 million? And you go, it's really not that hard. And they're like, what do you mean? Right? But
go ahead.
Essentially, making $1 million in sales or making $1 million in your pocket are two different things. Right?
Very different things.
So when people say I have $1 million business, assuming the average business has a 5% net margin on it, which is probably not far from, let's say 10% for argument's sake. That means in order for you to take $1 million from the business, you have to be $1 million business in gross revenue for 10 years. And then you have $1 million, right? But getting a business to $1 million is not, I mean, depending on what you sell. If you sell $3 widgets, you also have a much larger market for $3 widgets.
Sure.
If you sell $100,000 custom editions, you need 10, right? Like it's
but all. How many of those are out there?
Correct.
Right.
It's the economy of scale. Right. It's very interesting because I get asked this a lot is like, how hard is it to get a business to $1 million? And I'm like, it's not as hard as you think, depending on what it is.
What you mean by $1 million, right?
Correct.
But even if today, even if the idea is to earn $1 million, certainly harder than selling $1 million.
Correct.
But my wife and I we're pretty big fans of The Amazing Race, right? We watch it pretty much every season, and they just finished up the last season about a month or two ago, or they aired it. Apparently, it was from 2022, but they just aired it. So weird. Okay. Anyway, my point is, when we started watching it years and years ago, it was $1 million prize. $1 million meant something back then. Doesn't mean as much today.
No,
it really doesn't.
Back then, you could have bought 2 houses. Now you can buy one.
You barely buy one with that. I mean, so think about it. $1 million, will it change your life? I don't. In some cases, yes.
For a lot of people, that would be life changing.
I think it would
for the people
change your life. You're not retiring on it.
No, you're not.
You're not. You're even if you were to take obviously the smartest move is to take it, put it into a bank, let it grow. Right, put it into a trust, whatever, and let it grow. People are going to spend it on this, that, or the other, cars, money for a house, clothes, whatever it is, and it's just like the lottery winners, just like our last person, the lottery winners that win $5-10 million and they're bankrupt in 5 years because they don't know how to handle money. So yeah, the $1 million business, it's not that hard to get to these days because $1 million isn't what it was 20 years ago.
Correct. So it's just interesting that that seems to be that line that people target, and I'm like, you need to set your targets higher.
Yeah, 2 million.
Yeah.
All right. Key concern 4422 says, in a few lines, it's an e-commerce fashion business that we build a community around. The community will handle marketing and sales via referrals/affiliate marketing as the primary driver of revenue. Go super aggressive, 50% profit split on each referred transaction. Value we add to the community. They watch our journey, learn how to build an e-commerce business. They make money, monetize their following. We put on networking, training with how to affiliate market, and have a say in the brand and how it works. I believe the key is in creating the community, but keen to get your thoughts. Thanks, team. This is all you. This is all you. Online marketing. Go.
So my opinion on a lot of this stuff has changed over the last few years because I have seen stuff where I was like, there's no way you can build a business around this. But with how there is generational changes happening, the older generation used to like brands for brands, right? Like there was a standardized funnel that we would go through. We would get interested. We would get engaged. We would go buy it, whatever. The younger generations want to be more involved with the brand and the stuff that they're buying, right? So do you remember Tom's, the shoes?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, like buy one and we'll give someone in need.
Yeah. Yeah.
People
Socks,
totally,
shoes, they did all that. Yeah.
Right. People totally rallied behind it. It was a fascinating experiment as far as I was concerned. There's a sock company that does the same.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, I would have told you there's no way this idea is going to work. Today, I'm sitting here reading it going, why not? Right? Like, why not have a community brand?
Right.
Right? So she's saying it's not really a community brand, but if users have a say in what the brand is doing,
It's
and
community, right.
it is a community brand.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I think that could work to a certain extent, but you also have to remember that there's this phenomenon when it comes to design. Is everybody, and this is why like I refuse to work with a committee, because everybody and their uncle has an opinion about the stuff that doesn't matter. Right? Like if you show up to a committee with a poster and they go, I think it would look better in green.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no bearing on
insignificant,
the product
right?
whatsoever.
Like you just blurred something out for the sake of blurring something out, right? Like, yes, of course, it could be green, orange, whatever. Nobody cares.
Right.
The stuff that really matters, there's very few people that understand, like, why is the sentence structure this way? What are the attention-grabbing words on it? Like, that stuff, nobody really comments on that because they don't have the expertise. But anybody can say, oh, I don't like red. Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, red's too hard on the eyes.
Right.
You
like,
need to soften it
like
up.
just, shut up and go away. But
you know, that's what you get when you ask your friends and family and stuff.
Correct.
They're not, unless they are experts in that field.
Correct.
You
Then
shouldn't ask
by
them.
all means, listen, right? And
Right.
I can guarantee you someone that's an expert in a marketing field, if you show up with your poster, the first thing they're going to criticize
The message.
is, it's not the color of your
Right.
flyer. It's what it says
Right.
on it, right? And that's the difference. And this is general advice to anybody that's starting a business. If you run something by someone and the only thing they can criticize is the color, you're definitely on the right track.
Right.
Right? Especially if you bring it to an expert. But everybody will comment on, it's not my color, it's not my style. Like, well, guess what?
Make that 10% more green.
Correct. Right.
I've heard that before, by the way.
But I think this might actually be where we are seeing the future head to. Like,
Okay.
I think this idea might be ahead of where it should be. Like,
So this is something you see 5 years down the line.
Not necessarily. Like, I could see some of this, like, depending on what it is, because, I mean, e-commerce fashion business is a very, very broad word, right?
Right.
But if you are allowing consumers, like let's say you're putting up 3 different designs and users get to vote on the design. Which one do you like best? Right? And we're only going to produce the one that gets the most attention.
I would say instead of voting, maybe interact with the ones that they interact with the most.
But I wouldn't.
Still voting, it changes the whole.
No, because I want them to vote because you want to be able to take pre-orders.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want to go to production until you can pre-order stuff.
No, I understand that.
So allow people to pre-order. They put a deposit down, right? And then whichever one gets picked, everybody that put a deposit on that will be able to buy it. And then the other 2 will go to the next round of voting, right? Like I'm just trying to come up with how they could potentially do this, which I think would be cool. I mean, so you drive a Tesla.
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Elon.
So what was fascinating when Tesla was about to build the Cybertruck, they were having a hard time getting financing that they needed in order to set up the area, right?
I heard about that, yeah.
So what did he do? He went out and said, anybody that's interested, all you have to do is put $100 deposit.
Right, which I did.
He now went to the bank and said, look, I just had...
Yeah, I have 100,000 people waiting for this thing.
Right,
yeah.
that all put a deposit down, right? Why wouldn't you lend me the money, right? Even if 50% of them back out, even if 90% of them back out, there's still enough money there to be made. So if you can do this concept in a way where, yes, people are part of the brand, but you also are able to get items pre-ordered before production, that would be ideal.
Yeah. And I can see that working too, because if you have interactivity with certain products, you can show through analytics that, we have 10,000 people that come to the site every day, and of these 3 new items that we posted, 7,500 of people interacted with that item, right? That would really show that, okay, this is something that people are interested in.
So here's the thing. This is because yes and no. So I agree with a yes if it shows interaction. But how many times do you click on something just because I need to see what this hideous thing is?
When I say interaction, it's more like it's something that you put, maybe the thing has like a, put your face on a body and then put clothes on yourself and you can see what it looks like or something like that, right? That type of interaction. Yeah. Something where it's positive interaction.
Whatever it is, make sure that there's a way. Once again, don't do anything where people vote with your money.
Right.
Like that's the only vote that should count.
Right.
Because you could have 1 million people say, oh, I love this. I would look so good in it. And then it's a $299 jacket. Now those 2 million people that said, oh, I like it. Now all of a sudden 9 of them can afford it.
Or even the 2 million that say they love it and then it's $1.99 and they can afford it, but no one does it anything anyway.
Correct.
It happens all the time.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. This is the greatest idea ever. And then the idea comes out and no one does anything with it.
Correct. So this is, community and community design and community brands, I think, are definitely going to be part of the future. But you got to make sure that you're not, that the money is giving you the guidance, not just people's opinions.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to you on that one. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I like this one because I have solar panels. Can you hire an electrician to install solar on other people's homes? With their permission, probably. Just go up and start doing it. I'm thinking about starting a business where I supply solar panels and batteries and hire an electrician to install it onto people's homes for a commission. Is this a good idea? This is from some resident 7524. Now, hold on. Let's break this apart. They are going to supply the solar panels and batteries and hire an electrician to install it for a commission. A commission of what? The electrician's fee? A commission on the solar renewable credits? A commission on the electricity generated? All of the above?
He wants to start a solar company.
I guess.
So let me explain to you real quick how 99% of the trades work right now.
And why 99% of solar companies go out of business in a year. Go ahead.
But let's start with how the trades work. So you have what's called a GM, right? A general, or GC, sorry, a general contractor.
Yeah.
That general contractor will tell you he can do anything at your house. He'll do your roofs, your gutters,
Right.
your drywall, your paint, your patio, whatever you need. At the end of the day, nobody that actually works for this guy directly is going to show up at your house. It's going to be subcontractors,
Right.
which is essentially exactly what he's asking. So yes, you can be a sales and marketing company. Like I know a guy right now that does $3.8 million a year in roofing sales, and the 3 people that own the business have no idea how to install a roof.
Yeah.
Somebody could come and install it backwards and they would have no clue. But they're a sales and marketing company that sells roofing and then have subcontractors that install it. So yes, this is 100% doable. You are just becoming a sales and marketing company that sells solar
here's the
installation.
problem. And this is something I've been dealing with. I've known this industry for years. So here's the problem with this. You're competing against marketing. You're competing against 40 other people out there that are doing the exact same thing. No one knows Joe from John, who's better, who's best, et cetera. Because everyone's got the 5-star reviews that their uncles and nephews left for them, right? So no one knows who's who. That's the first thing. So you're going to have a huge barrier to entry just trying to get over on some of these companies that have been around for a little while. But the thing I said up front, which is a lot of these companies, I do mean the vast majority of these companies go out of business. Here's what happens. They install the solar panels on the person's house. They hook everything up. The inverters, which if you don't know what an inverter is, I know you do, but if you don't know what an inverter is, I forget if it's AC to DC or DC to AC, but the energy that comes in from the sun into the solar panels is one of those. So let's say it's AC, and no, it's DC. I know it's DC. And then the energy that's in your home runs on AC current. So the inverters convert that over from DC to AC, so you can use it in your home. Okay, great. Inverters go out. They fail all the time, right? They stop working after a year. The panels have issues. Rodents, like squirrels and whatnot, get up there and chew through the wires. Birds break the panels, et cetera, et cetera. And these companies, when they were installed, oh yeah, we'll give you a 10-year warranty, a 20-year warranty. Yeah, but they're not going to be around in a year. And that warranty is worthless.
And it also doesn't cover things like rodents and stuff
exactly,
like that.
Right. So what I've recommended to quite a few electricians that have been talking about getting into solar, and one of them actually took my advice and is making a lot of money right now, is repairs, right? Get good at repairing these systems, because no one's going out to repair them. Everybody wants to install.
Yeah, but this guy
Everybody
sounds
wants
like
to sell. No one wants to repair.
It doesn't seem like he even knows how to.
Well, he would hire them. Doesn't matter. If you want to go out there, you hire the electrician who can repair it, and then you start selling the repair services.
So do a repair business instead of an install business.
Right.
I like that idea.
So we're in the Doylestown area, right? Just outside of Philadelphia.
Yep.
Do you know that the closest solar repair center that I could get to come out to my house, and it took 18 months to find, because no one wants to come out.
What is it, like Delaware?
Point Pleasant. Near the Jersey Shore, about an hour and a half.
So
from
Delaware, basically.
Yeah, it took 18 months to find, because our system went down. We have 3 inverters. One of them failed, and then a few months later, another one failed. The company that we hired out of business. No one's helping us, and we couldn't. We called solar company, and they're all like, "Well, we can come out and put new ones in, but we're not going to fix whatever's there."
Right.
And it took 18 months to find a company, and they're an hour and a half away.
That's crazy.
Now, I'm going to give them a plug because they are fantastic. It's called Sea Point Solar. Ask for Vince. They are fantastic. They will take care of you. They'll come out. They're not paying us for this. This is free, because they took care of my property when no one else would. But I'm telling you, that is the business to get in, because nobody wants to repair solar.
It's funny because I was talking, well, I wasn't talking to him, but I had interaction with a guy the other day that built a deck company to $5 million in 3 years. And everybody wants to go out and build the new decks because they're $30,000 a pop, right?
Yeah.
Very few people want to go out and repair a deck.
Right.
Nobody wants to go out and clean the deck.
Right.
Nobody wants to go paint the deck. Guess what he does? All of the above.
All of that, yep.
Right? So they're out every year cleaning the deck, maintaining the deck.
Yeah.
When that deck needs to be replaced.
Or expanded.
Right.
Who are they going to call? That's exactly right.
And I think there's a lot of businesses out there that are missing those opportunities. Is the repair and maintenance portion that leads to the new sales. And a lot of times it's easier breaking into a repair and maintenance market than it is new installs, because There's way more money up front making that one-time sale.
But you know what you don't do? You don't build the relationship with the new installs. The repairs,
a lot of times you
build
don't.
the relationships.
Yes. Yep.
And those relationships lead to, oh, my friend has this problem, my friend has this problem.
Like the HVAC industry, a lot of people will shop around a new HVAC system. They won't go with the guy necessarily that's maintained it.
Right.
But they're always in the hunt.
Right.
Like they will always have an opportunity to quote it. They may not win it, but they always have an opportunity to quote it.
See, I think I differ on that one. If my when my AC went out, not the one at the office, but at home, what was it, about 4 or 5 years ago? Mm-hmm. I didn't even bother calling anybody else. I just called the guy that I've always used because I trust him. As I know over the years, there were times where he could have really screwed me with a giant bill, and he didn't.
Correct. But the other problem is if you don't like the system, not every HVAC company will install every type of system, right? So like you could have someone that does Goodman. You could have someone that does, what are some other ones out there? Can't remember off the top of my head.
Names.
Asana, whatever they're called, right? Like I can't remember. Carrier.
Yeah, Carrier's a big one. Yeah. Fujitsu, Whirlpool.
Correct. So most people don't know there's only like a handful of manufacturers, and most companies that manufacture have 3 or 4 brands they manufacture under.
Right.
But what they do is they make exclusive contracts with the HVAC installers. So they can only install
a certain carrier. Right, exactly.
They can't. So
you know, one carrier, well, then you can't go with these
correct.
guys.
So if you wanted a different system, you can't use your guy because he's not technically supposed to be installed, and he can't get you the best pricing on that system.
Right.
So that's why a lot of times in that industry, for example, people often look at, yes, I have a great relationship with my HVAC guy. You know, he's fantastic, but I really don't want the same type of system.
Yeah. And
he may not be able to install a different system. So that's
that's a fair point.
And that's what happened in my case, is I did not want the system that was there previously. I wanted to go to a different brand because it came with a much better warranty. It came with a much better guarantee.
Right.
And it was a no-brainer because the system itself ended up costing about the same. One came with a 5-year, like bumper-to-bumper warranty. The other one came with 10 for the same price.
Right.
And I'm like, So in this case now,
no, it's true.
Because now you're no longer looking at just the guy that's doing the work. You're also looking at the product they're installing.
Right. Well, if they're installing a product that you're comfortable with, then,
correct.
Then it's a no-brainer as well.
But it's just the difference. Like when it comes to a deck, nobody knows the difference between the Trex material or the one from Lowe's or the one, like they just want I want the plastic stuff or I want the real wood.
I would say the same thing with the solar panels.
Yeah.
No one knows the difference between the types of solar panels that are out there.
None.
There's what's called flashing on solar panels, where you can flash the panel and you can see how much of the rays it's going to absorb.
Yeah.
And the higher the flash rate, the more absorbent it is. Generally, the higher the price. But because these things are made on these machine belts, right?
Yes.
You can have a set of panels from the same lot where they're all flashing differently. And so some manufacturers or some installers will go out there, or repairmen will go out there, and they'll flash 30 different panels to find the best ones. Other ones won't care, and they'll just pick up whatever.
Grab whatever's on the lot.
Right. And, so it all depends on what you're doing. So back to this guy, I would say, could you do what you want to do? Sure. Start a solar installation company. There's a million of them out there, but what's not out there is the repair guy.
Yeah.
So be the repair guy and make a couple $1 million a year off that easily. So good luck to you. All right.
Now I want to call my buddy.
What is that?
He specializes in commercial repair for solar panels over in Europe.
Oh, very cool.
And he just got recruited by a major solar company to run their entire commercial division.
Fantastic. Over in Europe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
what part of Europe?
So they do all of Europe.
All of Europe.
Like he gets sent from Norway to Germany to wherever these panels are. Like they install massive installation.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what he does. Now I need to.
It's funny when you talk about Europe. Because I have a cousin. He's from the U.S., but he went to school in Sweden. And he lives out there now, and he lives in just outside of Amsterdam. And it's just funny when he says, "Oh yeah, we're going to Germany today, or we're going to Switzerland today, or something like that." You can make day trips across Europe without. You don't even realize how close these countries really are to each other.
I jokingly tell people that if you live in London, you can make it to Paris in less time than I can make it from New York City to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Right? Like it takes you less time to go from London to Paris than from
crazy?
New York to D.C.
It's crazy. It really is. People don't realize that don't go there very often.
So I think across the thinnest part of England, you can drive across England in something like, 37 minutes or 47 minutes. And then you think about it and you're like, I can't make it to Center City from here in 47 minutes.
All right,
anyway.
I'm gonna let's see. Let's move this here. Mr. Ducks 05 says streaming service replacement. Oh man, let's see where this goes. Nowadays, there are so many streaming services that are so expensive, and with the new anti-password sharing policies being implemented, it's becoming harder and harder for people to watch what they want conveniently
without paying for it.
Yeah, believe me, there's ways to do it very conveniently if you don't want to pay for it. My idea is this: create a platform that gets the rights to rent out shows and movies like Amazon Prime or Google Play, then charge a monthly subscription to users to be able to watch the shows and movies from all types of platforms in one place. Most people only use part of the streaming service when subscribed, so instead of paying for 3+ subscriptions, it's all centralized and more convenient, if also not cheaper. It's called cable. They've been doing that for many years now.
it's the cable model.
Before I go on, we're coming right back.
Correct. We're coming full circle.
Early 80s, cable becomes a thing, right?
Just look
at all of these channels. Remember old Prism? Remember the Prism channel and HBO and you get them all in one spot, and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And then the cable companies, in my opinion, got greedy, and what they started doing was, instead of you having a subscription, you had a subscription, and you had to have a subscription for each TV in the house, each box.
Correct.
Right. And then your cable bill went from $50 a month to $200 a month, and then suddenly it was like, what do I do? So people started cutting cable and just using the internet for streaming. Netflix had its streaming. You can go on Hulu and stream all these different places, right? And then you can buy subscriptions to Sling for $20 a month. So now you're in for like $50, $60 a month with your internet connection, and you have access to everything. That was 10 years ago. Now it's all coming back. Each service has its own subscription to get on. If you want to have access to all the channels that you had access to on cable before, it's going to cost you $200 a month.
And these deals,
once again,
these deals are all being penned right now.
Yeah,
Disney is making a deal with Comcast. I was listening to the Wall Street Tech Journal.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, we're basically going back full circle to where now you're buying these multi-channel bundles just like you used to back in the cable days.
I remember back in 2005, 2006, the big push was whether or not the cable companies would allow you to buy individual subscriptions to channels. And the companies, they were putting the message out there to people. Is this something that you want? And I was like, no, we don't want to buy individual subscriptions. We just don't want to have to pay as much for everything.
Correct.
Right? Now what are they doing? Everyone's buying individual subscriptions to things, right? Yeah. So we're right back where we started.
Yeah, but I mean, we're also, it's being structured differently, right?
So, okay, I'm going to continue. So the main issue I can see are copyright laws. Without question, you're talking to a copyright attorney. So yes, that is without question the main issue. And I'm not well versed in the ins and outs. If this could theoretically get around, since it would be considered renting, like on Prime or Google. Well, it's just a licensing model. Maybe the only way this would work is to make rentals more economical and centralized. However, my main objective is to try and find a way to fix the problems that have arisen from streaming services. Apparently, the only even kind sector that doesn't affect from more competition. I'm not sure what he's saying.
That doesn't benefit from more companies.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's typo. There is plenty of ways this doesn't work, but I'd love to hear ideas on what specifically wouldn't work, and maybe ways to pivot the ideas to something slightly different. So, yeah, like we said, this is the cable model from the early 80s and 90s before streaming became a thing. It's now coming back.
So let's step backwards a little bit. So I'd love to hear ideas what specifically wouldn't work, maybe ways to pivot the idea into something slightly different. So let's pivot it into slightly different, because like he admitted, there's a million ways this doesn't work.
Right.
How can would it work?
How
right?
can it work? All right.
So
you're still, regardless of what happens, and this was the I forget what the Supreme Court case was, like Arrow antenna or something like that, where they put up antennae all over antennae, right? That's multiple antennae. I forget. They put up multiple antenna.
ESL.
All over. That's true. All over the country, right? Big ones like New York skyscrapers, Los Angeles, etc. And because it was over the air, they thought that, well, we're ingesting it over the air. We're not stealing it from anybody. It's freely available, and then we're going to allow our subscribers to watch it from anywhere in the world. And that was found to be copyright infringement. So, and that proved the theory that anytime you want content from a service provider, you must have a license.
You can't rebroadcast something.
Cannot. You must have a license for it.
So here's my thing. What if this would work something like Spotify?
Okay.
Not even Spotify, because that's a whole different realm that I want to get into.
So I'll tell you right now why that doesn't work. The music industry, in the 1976 Copyright Act, the music industry was a very special provision was put in for music that doesn't apply to other types of media.
No. So here's the thing.
Okay.
One of the things that surprised me is, now I know a few people that are in bands, and I didn't know how the payout worked in the music industry, right? So if I go and stream music from an artist, Taylor Swift makes money. I was like, what? Like I didn't know that was the case, right? Because it's paid out based on like radio listen. There's this entire formula, right? Yeah. So even if you've never listened to Taylor Swift in your life, you're still making her money anytime you listen to music on any type of Spotify or radio
she wrote
station.
The song, right?
Correct. No, that's the weird part about this.
How is she making money if she has nothing to do with the song?
Because, so in a lot of countries, I don't know what they call it in English, but basically, so a radio station pays licensing fees to the music industry.
Yeah.
It's not based on per song.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because they're paying a licensing fee for the rights to this catalog of music.
Correct.
Right. And then I can play anything from this catalog, and the money gets shared amongst all the artists. Right.
Based on how frequently they're played on the radio. Right. So that means, like, if you're listening to, I don't know, Bloodhound Gang on Spotify, Taylor Swift could still be making money from it because she's a more popular current artist. Right. Which is insane. But anyway. So I think the way this could work, if I could go in and rather than making it a channel subscription, make it a show subscription. So I could go in and select, I just want to subscribe to these 30 shows, right? And then I have 2 million subscribers to, I don't know.
Big Bang Theory.
Right. And I have 2 million subscribers to Seinfeld. I have 2 million subscribers to Friends. I have 2 million subscribers to American Idol. And then you just license it, just the show, for the number of people you have watching this. And that's the only thing they have access to. So I don't get access to your entire catalog. I only get access to the shows. So it's very similar, like Blockbuster.
Okay.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Because realistically, I have Netflix, I have Disney, I have all of these things, right? Realistically, I probably only watch about 7 shows in total.
Right. Like, I agree. And I'm watching them at once, that one show.
Correct.
Until that show ends, and I'm watching another show. So I'm not watching 7 shows at the same time.
And someone tells me, right, so this is kind of like where the Amazon comes in, where you can just rent episodes. So, like, you could cancel your Prime subscription and then just go rent that series, right? Or rent that season. Yeah. So, it's kind of being done, but what they're finding out is, like, Amazon, I don't know how much of their streaming revenue is from people renting an episode versus from their Prime model. Right? Like, because Prime it's a cluster, right? Because it goes into the shipping and it goes into the music and it goes into so Prime is kind of like deceptive with this. But I definitely think there could be a model that if you gave me a list that said, here are 2,000 shows you can subscribe to for $9.99 a month, you get to pick the 15 shows you want to watch, and you get nothing else, I would buy it.
That's a pretty cool idea.
I would cancel my Netflix tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea.
Cancel my Hulu, my Apple.
Because think about it. How many shows on Netflix are you really watching? Right?
4,
5, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Until Stranger Things comes back.
And then, yeah.
Well, no, seriously. Think of it's the Game of Thrones effect, right? It's what happened with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Everyone had HBO while Game of Thrones was out.
And it all got canceled right after.
And then right after the season ended, because they knew it was going to be 18 months from that, they would cancel it.
Yep.
And then a month before the new season, they would get it again and then cancel it. And now the same thing's happening with House of Dragon.
I was even worse. I would wait until there was only 4 episodes left and then sign up for 30 days.
Right,
binge watch and then catch the last 4 live.
Right.
And so I was paying for Max.
Because you're not interested in all the other stuff.
So I was willing to pay. What it came down to is I was willing to pay $10 to watch that.
Right.
Because that was my subscription for 1 month for $20. And I got to watch it as many times as I wanted during those 20 days. I could go and rewatch that show multiple times. Yes, I happened to get whatever else was on HBO Max at the time, but I didn't.
Okay, so how do you do this then? So because there's right now, if you and I, we're business people. We have sophisticated businesses. You and I could not walk into a studio exec and say, we want to do this. We want to do this.
We want to license these shows.
They're going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you. They are. Because they're not going to be able to, they're not going to walk away from what's happening with the streaming. I mean, think about how much money Netflix is giving them.
So let's go. Let's go back.
So hold on. So I was going to say, let's go back to what we talked about earlier.
How many people laughed at Netflix when they wanted to compete with Blockbuster?
How many times did Blockbuster laugh at Netflix when Netflix wanted to get bought out?
So that's why I think this could be a legit model.
Right. So what I'm saying is, going back to what we said earlier, is get your market first in this case. Get people that are interested in subscribing to it, and then you can go to the studio warehouses and say, hey, look, I have 100,000 people that are ready to move on this subscription model right now.
Yes, for these shows.
Give me this deal.
You start with 10 shows at $3.99 a month. Right? And then you go to, you can pick, it's like...
You prove it works.
But it's the original Netflix model.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you had to go and get a DVD. It was shipped to your house.
Right.
You couldn't get another DVD until you shipped this one back, right? Like,
which was so great. I loved that. That was fantastic.
Back in the day, it was like...
You're waiting for the mail and new shows coming. Right?
But so if it worked for Netflix in the beginning, why wouldn't it work on a subscription basis for shows and stuff now?
So again, I don't think it would. I think it would work from the consumer point of view, wanting to subscribe to it. I think that the cable companies, the streaming services have those industries on lockdown. Like, for example, when Netflix lost Friends, right? I forget where Friends. I think Friends went to Hulu or something. I forget where they went, but that was it. No one else could have it.
Correct.
Right. So a lot of these big television shows that you want get exclusivity with other streaming services
because it's a monopoly.
Right. Well, that's what I'm getting at. So right? I can't walk into NBC or whoever it was and say, "Hey, I want a Friends subscription for my."
Yeah, you can't.
You can't do it.
No.
Right. And I have 100,000 people. Right. They're going to laugh at you. Tell me you have 100 million. Well, then maybe, right?
Correct.
But that's about it because they have these exclusive rights for a lot of these shows.
So you would need to start building it. So let's go back to saying, okay, so what are some niche industries you could start in where you could probably license specific shows because they're not highly competitive.
Right.
And they might be able to license you like anime. Could you penetrate that market?
Yeah, that's a good point
with, right?
because the anime market in the U.S. is it's like a cult,
yes.
right? It's an underground market
Correct.
that I think is poised to explode.
So if you get people to pay $9.99 a month, and
or Gunbuster or something
and
like
you
that.
have
Remember Gunbuster?
No, I never watched anime. It's not my thing.
So great.
But I happen to know that it has a cult
Star
following.
Blazers?
None of it.
Come on.
I haven't watched any anime.
Oh, so
I am
great.
not that much of a geek.
All right, good.
But so like if you could start in an industry that's niche, right? Like Netflix started with just movies.
Right.
right? And it was a single. So if you wanted to watch the entire Friends season, you had to get one DVD at a time,
yes.
right? Like, so I think this would work if you can find something niche where you can license the content and you only pay per subscriber you have, right? Because I remember talking to the musicians, and I would say with all this technology, Spotify knows that I listen to your song and not Taylor Swift. Why wouldn't they be able to send that data to the companies that pay out? The
license model works, right?
But it's because
it could.
It should.
So even still,
like
take it a step further. Take it a step further, right? Again, always want to think bigger picture here. You could use AI models to determine what is it. What are the shows? What are those unknown shows that are fantastic that you come across every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Like you ever see the show Dark, the one that was a German based. I thought maybe because you're European, maybe you saw it. What a fantastic show, but no one's ever heard of it, right? So anyway, point being, you find those unknown shows that don't have subscriptions anywhere, no one cares about them, but your algorithm is telling you, your AI model is telling you that this show would kill it with these people.
Yes.
Right?
But then wouldn't that be like the premium add-on then? Right? So think about, because you need someone that's willing to pay for the content they want to watch.
Yeah.
Then you get shows like that might be able to license it to you just for the additional exposure.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, so here's our freebie lineup, right? Because, if you're trying to avoid an ad model,
right,
you could become a promotion model where you will promote this show, but you might only release the first 5 episodes.
Right.
Right? And then if you want to see the rest of them, you have to add it to your, or rotate through.
Remember, Netflix did something similar to that early on. While you were getting the DVDs at no extra cost, you had access to their streaming originally.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was
quickly they put it into that.
And it was all old movies.
All old movies.
Right? You couldn't get anything that had been released in the past, like 90 days, whatever it was. But yeah, I think there's a market for where people, you can call it so let's say you have 3 packages. You have a 10-show package, 20-show package, and 30-show package.
Right.
And then once a month, you get the option to change the shows you want to watch. Right? So like this month I'm paying $10 and I have these 10 shows that I'm subscribing to. Next month I get tired of
where I watched it.
Correct. Yeah. Now I can unsubscribe from that and resubscribe to a different one. The royalties or what's being paid now shifts from this creator of this show no longer gets this person's money.
I'm not watching it.
I think that would be a perfectly fair model. So chances are it's never going to happen.
Chances are it's never
because it's a fair model.
I think if you could show that you have the right subscriber, you have enough of a subscriber base who wants this. Again, the whole Tesla, the Cybertruck with $100 deposit. You get people that are putting their money out and saying, "I want this."
Yes.
You get enough of them. I think you can do it, especially with the off, not the huge shows.
Correct.
Right, the secondary shows, whatever you want to call them.
Like I bet you right now there's 3 million people worldwide that subscribe to Netflix just for the anime shows and nothing else.
Yeah, probably.
They will never watch anything else on Netflix
they don't
but
care.
that.
Right.
You could go after that market alone.
Easy.
Right? Yes. Yeah. And if you can pull it off for $6.99 instead of whatever Netflix is up to now.
Right. It's like $24.
With ads or whatever it is. Like if you can just pull one market, then I think this is a doable idea.
Yeah. All right, we have time for one more, but Mr. Ducks, love it. Great idea. Online entry business consulting video.
No,
that's a ad. All right, we're gonna skip that.
Low code market worth diving into. Yes.
All right, so Intelligent King 248. Seeking insights on the low code market. Is it worth diving into in 2024?
Yes.
Hey. Thanks.
Yes.
Hey, Reddit community. My team and I are experienced developers considering launching a startup focused on low-code tools, specifically targeting workflow creation for enterprises. Okay, yes, I agree. We're looking to gather some insights from those who have experience with existing tools like N8N, Zapier, Kissflow, Appian, or any other. Here are a few questions we have. Market viability. How do you perceive the current state of the low-code market? Is there still room for new entrants, or is it too saturated? Consumer usefulness. How essential and useful are low-code tools for your workflows? What primary benefits do they offer? Current tools. Which low-code tools are you using, and what features do you find most valuable? Pain points. What drawbacks or limitations have you encountered with these tools? What improvements or features do you wish they had? We aim to understand the real-world application and challenges to determine if it's a good market to approach and how we can offer something unique. Your feedback would be invaluable to us as we shape our vision. Thanks in advance. Looking forward to your insights.
Okay, so the guy below there, FitShow.
I guess you're taking this one now. Okay.
No, so the FitShow 2604 that says low-code tools are very useful for the market workforce, and using API is pretty much full, I would say. Okay, so there's a guy right now on TikTok.
Yeah.
I watched him launch his company that does exactly this.
Yeah.
He went through first round of funding, and they already have Fortune 500 companies lined up to buy his product.
Yeah, I completely, if this guy is FitShow is saying that it's saturated, I completely disagree. Yeah. So I don't think it's saturated at all.
What this company did that was absolutely brilliant is they intertwined no-code development or no-code automations with AI. Because if you've ever used one of these tools, right? So you go in and you want to connect your form to an Excel.
Yep.
You have to map out every single field in the form to the, like, it's not as, yes, it's no code, but it's not like any less work a lot of times. Right? Like it's a lot of matching things up. What they did is they implemented AI that now goes in and says, oh, you want to import this form? Here. Do you want it in these columns?
Yep. Are these the headers? Yes. Great. Done.
Done. Right? Yeah. Like, so I think moving forward, it's not going to be low-code tools. It's going to be low-code tools that require minimum work.
Right.
I hate Zapier. I hate a lot of these because I feel like it would just be easier to build the API than to use these tools a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, no code tools are going to become even more and more essential as the years go on, because I mean, everyone thinks they're a software developer, and they're not. Okay. Yeah. They're just not. Just because you know how to use WordPress does not make you a software developer. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. The WordPress is a no code tool is what it is. And the people who actually know how to write code, they're becoming far and few between because either they're being swallowed up by large companies or, quite frankly, people just aren't learning it.
And I also think there's a huge market for creating automations in a simple way, because if you take your average plumber and that plumber wants to connect the form on his website to a CRM system.
No clue.
No, even if you gave him Zapier and Zapier gave them, here's the instructions, he would
Jack
still
forms or something like that.
Right. He would still look at it and be like, okay, so like I still have to I can't just click connect. No, you can't just click connect. You have to click connect, and then you have to assign the fields. And the fields often don't match. Right? Like what's the reference number versus form number versus like why do I have 4 numbers? Like what number does that align to on the CRM system? So I'm even seeing businesses right now that are making a killing that do nothing but sell make.com templates.
Yep.
Where they will build out the entire template for you.
Yep.
They will export it and they will send it to you and they'll implement it on your account.
Yep.
Because it's not as easy as it looks.
Now take it one step further. I see that happening a lot with AI as well. People using AI to build those templates.
Yes.
Because you give them the right prompts, the right things that they need, tell exactly what you want, and it builds out an entire scalable template.
Correct. The workflow.
In a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And then you can go online, build and sell it online.
So until Make and Zapier and those figure out how to do that, I think there's a huge gap in the market for using AI tools to
I think this is
to make it low code, it's only low work.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. I mean, let's look at his specific questions. How do you perceive the current state of the low code market? Is there still room? Yeah, yes, absolutely,
100%.
It's not a brand new market, but it's a newer market, and it's always going to be an emerging market because things are always going to change.
The people that immediately jumped on these are the people that already had a fundamental understanding of coding.
Right.
They knew what columns were, what fields were. They knew what mapping was.
Right.
So those were the first people to implement this, right? Your average consumer still has not implemented this as well. No. And when I say the average consumer, remember there's what? How many small businesses are there in the US?
Right.
Like a gazillion? Well, it's not a gazillion, but that could benefit from this, but they don't use it because they don't understand how to connect it.
Oh yeah, I'll use my WordPress example. If no code tools were so easy to use, everyone would have a WordPress website.
I wouldn't have
it's
a
so
job.
Easy. It's a from a development standpoint, it's probably one of the better and easiest tools out there.
My favorite customer is the one that was told WordPress is an easy to use tool, and then they come to us and say, "I can't get this to work."
Exactly.
And we're like, but you're trying to build a single page site.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this complicated, right? And then we build it in 2 hours.
Right. And they have no clue how no code works. So it's funny because in order to really understand no code, you need to understand code.
Ideally,
in many aspects.
Yes.
Customer usefulness. How essential and useful are low code tools for your workflows? What primary benefits do they offer? So what I would say to that is, as I said a minute ago, to really use powerful no-code tools, you still have to have at least a basic understanding of coding. You don't have to be a 20-year developer. You don't have to be someone who went to MIT or something like that to understand computer theory and stuff like that. But you do have to have some basics. Like you should understand HTML. You should understand JavaScript. You should understand Excel and things like that.
So I would say you would even simplify. Like the only thing you need to understand is how API calls work,
right,
and how databases are structured. If you know those two things with software like Zapier and Make.com, you can muddle your way through it.
Fair
knowing
enough.
Just those two things.
But if I was trying to build something professionally, you need to know more than that. Right? So when he's asking here, how essential is it for your workflows? I would say if I'm just messing around and trying to get something up for I have a restaurant and I want a quick website, yeah, sure. If I don't understand databases, cool, I can do it. But if I'm actually building a useful tool, I need to have a better understanding than that.
Correct. But right? I mean, the low code market isn't going after people that understand a lot of this stuff.
Again, you don't have to understand it implicitly.
No,
but at least some understanding.
But like low code is for the guy that wants to connect his CRM with his form and connect his CRM with his
but he wants to do
email marketing.
So he better have an understanding of how those things work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think people understand what the full benefits are because they don't know how to use it. So if you can simplify how to use it, there's going to be a lot of benefits that show up because people all of a sudden go, wait a minute, I can feed stuff from my QuickBooks to my CRM system and from my CRM system to my MailChimp. Or
how do I do that?
Correct, right? And so if you can make something that is truly simple, right? Not low code, but low code, low work.
Yeah.
I think that's where there's a huge gap in the market.
Yeah. Current tools. Which low code tools are you using? What features do you find most valuable? So I would say we mentioned WordPress quite a few times. You know why WordPress is so great in this? And I don't even use WordPress anymore. I've used it years ago, but it's the community. It's the people who create the plugins.
Yes,
that's what made WordPress so spectacular back in the day, which is still good today too, because you have. You want to do something? There's 10,000 different widgets out there for you that you can push a button and it will now work. Mostly. Sometimes you have to configure it a certain way, but for the most part, you push a button and install it, and you now have X on your website.
The events calendar.
Oh my God! Right?
You can now take registrations for an event.
Go on WordPress and search calendar, and you're going to get 100,000 different ones, and they're all, not all of them, but a lot of them are so great.
Yeah,
and that is what separated WordPress from everything else.
Correct. It was
Drupal and all these other things.
Joomla, they all fell behind because there was no community
exactly
making low code or
Yes.
no code plugins.
Exactly.
Right. That's yeah.
So if you're going to base the model you want to build on something, like we said a couple of times today, base it on community.
Yeah.
Because community is what's going to drive it.
Correct.
And pain points. What drawbacks or limitations have you encountered with these tools? What improvements or features do you wish they had? Well, I think we said it a couple of times
Correct.
already about the pain points are sometimes it's not just a matter of clicking a button, right?
Most of the time it's not just clicking a button,
not.
right?
Like you might say, click here to insert a form, but what's that form going to do? Where's it going to sit? How are you going to analyze it? Right?
Where's the information going to go?
Right.
Like,
none of that stuff is very clear when it comes to
I will give. So I've used both Zapier and Make, and I just started playing around with Make.com because I got curious about it, and I have to say, I find it easier to use Make than Zapier. Right, just because it's a visual workflow process, so you can see it goes from here to here to here to here to here.
Yeah,
and you're creating these visual workflows, and for a lot of people that are going to be good or able to do this, they are probably already visual because they can see how things intertwine. Still, both are horrible to use, and they take way too much time.
They have their drawbacks.
Yes.
There's significant drawbacks.
I would rather call my programmer and go, just build a stupid API and let's not even use this.
As a programmer myself, I'll tell you one thing that programmers hate is they hate being pigeonholed, right? And what I mean by pigeonholed is they hate being told this is what you have to do to make this work. And when you do that, you can't do anything outside of that scope. That drives us nuts. It really does. It's like, forget it. I want full control.
Yes.
So there you go. Okay. You want to make a low code tool that works. Make it something where the person who's implementing it has full control still.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard. But yes,
it is. It is hard.
It's super
hard. Guess what? You figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a great tool for everybody. So
sounds like we are 100% behind this business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like the idea. I really like
too.
the idea. So. Good job, Intelligent King. It's a very intelligent idea.
And
with that, I think we're going to wrap up today. Yeah?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. See you next week.
Yeah.
All right, brother.